Yeah, let's get some perspective on what the Trump administration is doing here. Dr. Daniel Smith is a visiting fellow at the US Studies Centre, and Daniel is joining us here at the desk. Firstly, blowing up boats in open ocean, is this even legal?
So it's unclear. It's clear under the Constitution that only Congress has the authority to declare war. But Article 2 of the Constitution creates the idea that the president is commander-in-chief, and it's generally accepted that the commander-in-chief can defend the country. So that's the legal justification that the Trump administration is using. But under the War Powers Act, which was passed in 1973, the president in these situations has to work closely with Congress. And you've had pushback from Democrats in Congress, from Rand Paul, a Republican senator from Kentucky, who said that he clearly is not working with Congress. He's not giving them information about the intelligence that's being used to justify these attacks. So the legal basis is somewhat unclear, and it's being contested.
But these are not weapons, these are not bombs that are coming in on these boats. These are drugs. So is that constitute defending the country?
So the idea that the Trump administration is using to justify this is that earlier this year, they declared Tren de Aragua and other narco-terrorist groups as designated terrorist organizations, which has usually been used for groups like Al-Qaeda. So that's the idea that these are terrorist organizations waging war on the U.S. That's the legal justification being used by the Trump administration to justify these attacks.
Is there a danger that this could escalate quickly? Does Venezuela have the firepower to fight back? And what about the cartels?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think there's a great uncertainty about what would happen if Trump already authorized CIA involvement on the ground. He's flirted with the idea of a land war. He said maybe he would go to Congress for authorization if he were to do that. But nobody knows what's going to happen. That's what's so concerning about these kinds of escalations. And Trump is someone who campaigned on the idea that we're not going to get involved in foreign wars, foreign entanglements. So the idea that he's kind of pursuing maybe a regime change in Venezuela is somewhat contradictory. And I think the legal basis for it is unclear, especially if he were to escalate and to go into the ground.
Are we starting to work out that the US can really do whatever they want? Lots of people could say stop at this point. Who is going to stop them?
Congress is the only one that really has the authority to push back. Earlier this month, Democrats in Congress and the Senate, they pushed forward legislation that would ask the president, or require the president to consult with them if they wanted to have any more strikes on Venezuelan boats or cartel boats. That was voted down by Republicans in Congress and by Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. So that was kind of the main effort. There's been statements from Democratic senators, but it's really only Congress. And U.S., in many ways, it can do what it wants. It's clearly not going to follow international law with this. There's been pushback from the UN and from other international organizations, human rights organizations, about what they've been doing the last 2 months. But if it escalates, who knows where it would go.
One of the main drugs of concern is fentanyl. Is there any suggestion some of the big pharmaceutical companies that push this drug on people will be labelled terrorists?
I don't think so. Yeah, that's pretty unlikely.
And land strikes?
Yeah, that would really be a huge escalation. As distasteful as the Maduro regime is, Venezuela is a sovereign country. So, Trump said that he would maybe ask for congressional authorization if they were to go that far. But, that's something where what happens if Maduro falls? I think there's some idea that maybe they're trying to pressure other elites within Venezuela to try to topple Maduro, have some sort of coup. But it's unclear whatever comes after him would be better, or that it would maybe destabilize the region, or that would really deter the cartels from doing what they're doing. Because they're in business. They're transnational business organizations. If Venezuela is not good for business, they're going to go to other countries. So I don't know if it's the best strategy for dealing with the cartels. Even if there's some voices within the Trump administration that want regime change in Venezuela, that's contradicting the sort of, the foreign policy ideas that are animating the Trump movement, the America First idea, and B, whether, the consequences of that would be worth the cost.
A lot unclear at the moment. Okay, Dr. Daniel Smith, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.